Hello everybody, this is Kavya. Today we'll be discussing lesson 3 of the C programming language, that is the loop control structures. In this lesson, we'll be discussing all the loops that the C language supports and how can we use it in programming. Let me tell you all the objectives or contents for this lesson. We'll be discussing about loops, while loop, for loop, break and continue statements, and then the do while loop. All these falls under categories of loops for C programming. Let's first discuss about loops. Loop, a general definition if I had to tell, it is a set of statements that iterates any number of times that we want. For example, we give a condition and ask a set of statements to be repeated 3 number of times. Then that iteration process or that set of sentences are called as a loop. This loops generally have 3 methods, okay, as I said, which help for repeating a part of the program or code. We have while, for, and do while. We'll be discussing about while in the beginning. While is mainly used for repeating something a fixed number of times. For example, if I wanted few group of sentences to be repeated only 4 times, in that situations I'll be using while statements. The general syntax of the while will be like this. This is the initialization of the loop counter. Here comes the while, and within this braces we'll be writing whatever condition that we want, and until all the times the condition is true, the complete statements within this loop will be executed. Only if the condition becomes false, it terminates out of the loop. It also helps for any valid expression that is equivalent to 0. Here in place of a condition you can even put a expression. A simple example let us consider. I'll first explain you the flowchart here rather than the program first for easy understanding purpose. We start a program, then we initialize an expression saying count is equal to 1. We test a condition if count is less than or equal to 3. If it is yes, we need to give an input for the values p, n and r, then calculate the simple interest, then print the simple interest. Once this is done, we have to increment the count value and then go back to the condition. Again the count will be tested. If it is yes, the same procedure have to be followed. If not, it will directly come for the stop, that is the end of the program. The same thing will be repeated here in programming. Here is the initialization that takes place, all these 3 lines. Here is the while condition, while only if count is less than or equal to 3. All these statements will be executed, that we print p and r, we calculate simple interest and print simple interest, and then increment the count value. This is the expected output that we usually get. Here comes the for loop. The main advantage of having for loop or using for loop is that this for loop can contain 3 specific things in one single line. If I had to tell you, it has 3 parts, as setting a loop counter, testing the loop counter, and then incrementing. Where in case of while loop, we have to set, then again execute, and then increment. But for, we can do everything in a single line. As this is the general statement or the general form, for this for, you'll have an initialize counter and then test counter and then increment counter. Once you initialize, you need to test the condition. When you test the condition, if you think that this is the correct condition or the condition is falling under true, you have to execute all the statements within this loop. Then again go back and increment the counter. Once you increment the counter, we have to again test. If it is tested and if it is true, execute, go back for incrementing. The same procedure happens till the end of the while loop and till the test condition becomes false. Here I see a simple example. This is the main and here we initialize. Here the same example for while loop as we consider. We take count is equal to 1, then put a condition if count is less than or equal to 3, then increment. Once this is less than or equal to 3, print the values of P and R, then print simple interest, and then come back for counting it again. This helps for minimizing the number of statements as well. The same procedure of the flowchart is explained here with the start and end points. You write all the three incrementing and uh, what do we say, testing and then initializing in one single place, where this is first initialized, this is tested, and then this is incremented. If the test is true, you give an input, then print, calculate simple interest, and then print. Once you decide, then again increment the value. The same procedure happens if the condition is true, otherwise we go for a false condition and finish the program. Nesting of the loops. Nesting of the loop simply says that a loop within a loop, within another loop. For example, if I have a for loop, I wanted another for loop to be executed within that particular for loop, then we'll be using the concept of nesting of loops. Here what happens is, this is one for loop and this is another for loop. This for loop is actually within this for loop, right? It is very clear, right? This is one loop and this is another loop. This for loop finishes all the conditions and then executes this sentence, and this for loop finishes all this and comes out of the loop. As I said you, the output can be R1 is equal to 1, 2, 1, 1 and 2, because first the inner loop is executed, R value will be the same, C becomes 1, and then sum becomes sum becomes 2, because incrementation always happens, and because this is R plus C. Okay, the same procedure is done till we get the condition becomes false, that is C less than or equal to 1. Yeah, we go for multiple initializations for for. Nothing much different in knowing this. When you initialize in the first thing, like previously we have done count is equal to 1 or R is equal to 1, here we do it 2 times. You can do I is equal to 1, J is equal to 2, K is equal to 3, any number of initialization you can do. This simple concept of having more than one initializations grasps us for multiple initializations for loop. Okay, comes for the break statement. The main purpose of using break statement is that this allows us to jump out of that loop instantly whenever the condition becomes false. That means if I am testing a condition, if I have to go further, I need not continuously test till the end. Once if I feel the the condition is false, I can jump out of the loop. Once if I feel condition is true, I can come out of that loop. I can go for the other execution of other part of the code, which also saves our time. That is the main advantage of using break statements. Here is the simple syntax that I have tried to show you. This is a while, this is a text expression, if, then you come for a break. The same thing happens for a for loop also if you wanted to use. Continuous statement. If I have to tell you continuous statement, let us first understand the simple difference between break and continue. This continuous statements allow us to control the beginning of the loop by passing the statement inside the loop. For example, if you feel that that particular sentence is false, you skip only that particular sentence and continue with the other part of the code. That is a continuous statement. Here I explain you for break statement. That means you execute all these while conditions, you break. That means you don't come for this else part, and then the loop will be terminated to return. Whereas in continue, you execute all these for statements, you only remove this printout statement, again go for the another loop. This is the only basic difference between break and continue. Do while loop. There is a very similarity between while and do while loop. In while loop, we test the condition, then execute the code. In do while loop, though the condition is true or false, once we need to execute the code and then check for the condition. That is the only difference, minor difference between while and do while. Here is the simple syntax. You give a do, and then this is the statement that you want to execute, and here you give the while. That means before you check this while statement, you first execute this loop once and then only check the while statement. The same here, start and end. Give the initialization, body of the loop, increment, test. If the test is true, come back, otherwise simply stop. Yeah, coming to the end, I'll give you the brief summary of whatever we have discussed. We had three types of loops. They are for, while and do while, and the break statement takes the execution control out of the loop, whereas the continue statement skips the execution of the loop, and the do while is used to ensure that the statement within the loop are executed at least once. That means once at least this statements will be executed before we check the condition. And then comes the plus plus or minus minus operators are used for incrementing +1 or decrementing by -1. This is the general thing that we had discussed. This can be used for any kind of expressions that you use in any of the loops. This is all about today's lesson of loop control structures. You feel difficulty at any corner of the lesson or anywhere on any slide, you can feel free to tell me or put it on to a comment. I'll be sure that clarify your doubt at any point and make sure you'll be clear with that particular section of doubt. Thank you.